Hi everyone. Today I'd like to do a tutorial video on how to upgrade a standard Marklin bumper into something that looks a little bit better, a little bit more prototypical, and gives you more space on your layout. So the standard Marklin bumper, which is the 24977, looks like this. Has a little mound of sand or something in the back, and it has specific size that you can't really deviate from. So what I'll be showing in the tutorial is how you can convert this into an improved version that looks like this, where you can basically pick any track that you want and adjust the length and also make it look a lot better. So before I jump into the tutorial, here's some pictures of what the finished product looks like on my layout. So the main reason that I went for this beyond the looks is just the extra space that you get. As you can see with this modified version of the bumper, you get about 2 centimeters or so of additional parking space for your trains, which can add up to a lot, especially on smaller layouts. So all we need in terms of parts is the original bumper, which is 24977 or 24978 for the version with the LED. You can also substitute this for the standalone bumper, which is the 7391. So it's up to you what you go with. But if you already have these and just want to convert them, then you can use them as a starting point. You also want to have one track end piece. So this is the 24001. And you'll want to have the segment of track that you want to attach your bumper to. So just a quick note that this method will work with any length of track. So you can go for a really short 6.4 centimeter segment. You can go for the longer ones, or you can even use a standard length straight or curved track. It doesn't matter. You can convert anything you want depending on what your layout calls for. In terms of tools, we're going to need some wire cutters, a drill with a 3/16 inch drill bit. That's about 4.8 millimeters. And then a small flathead screwdriver for the bumper itself. If you're using the standalone bumper, the 7391, then it's good to have one of the normal Marklin mounting screws. And if not, then you can just use the screw that's included with the bumper. Here's what the finished product looks like under the hood. I did find another tutorial that does this without modifying the track. The difference with this method is that you're going to be able to use the screw to mount this new bumper or screw it into your layout so that it can't move. But if you'd like to do this without modifying your track at all, without having to cut it, check out the video that I found in the description for an alternate method. So as a first step, we're just going to unscrew the bumper from the track. So as a next step, we want to take a look at the track where we'll be installing the bumper. And as you can see here, just laying it on top of the track, it naturally rests at the end here. Pretty nicely. But because of the hump under here, we do need to cut a hole into the track if we want to be able to mount it. If there was no center rail, then we could just insert a screw directly, but unfortunately with the Marklin system there is. So what does that mean in terms of modifications to the track? Well, we count back 3 humps, and in between the third and the second, this is where we're going to drill the hole, the 3/16 inch hole. However, looking under the track, we have the center rail bit, and we have all of this metal, and we definitely don't want that to short circuit or interfere with our drilling. So what I did in this conversion, and what I've done throughout my layout, is I've just snipped off these bits, and that allowed me to drill and attach the bumpers without any further issues. So first we're going to go ahead and remove the center rail. Now this might look scary because it looks like a thicker piece of metal, but it's actually quite easy. So what I recommend is to go in, sort of grab it by the bottom here, right above the plastic guide, and just start cutting at it, sort of wiggling from side to side. And then eventually you can cut through it. So you can see now I've been able to essentially make that cut there. And you know, just to be sure, you can repeat this process a few times. As you can see with this old track here, some of the plastic's already shattered. This was a common issue with C-track back in the day. With a newer piece of track, this wouldn't happen at all. So now actually it would be helpful to have some pliers. So you just go in and grab this piece of center track and it comes right out. And then you want to grab these connectors and you just pull that out as well. There's really no reason to keep them in there, and it is pretty easy to remove. You just sort of yank them out. So now, you know, looking at the track here, we have holes where the center rail used to be, and we can very easily drill the hole for the bumper. So like I mentioned, we'll be drilling between where the second and third stub was and 3/16 of an inch, which is 4.8 millimeters approximately. If you're using old track, you don't want to press too hard. And again, with this older piece here, the hole isn't round because the plastic has a tendency to shatter. But you know, we did it without breaking anything else, so that's pretty good. But if we compare it to, you know, the newer track here, this was a 77 millimeter piece of track made in 2021, so almost brand new. You won't have any issues drilling into this plastic. And now, if we take our bumper and lay it on top, you can just squeeze it into that hole and push it down into the track, and it'll be a beautiful little end section for you. So let me demonstrate that from the side. We just lay it on top, squeeze it on top of the rails, and now it's essentially, you know, attached just by being clipped on. And then we can take the screw that came with the bumper itself, and what you can do with this screw is just insert it through where you drilled that hole, and also allow you to mount the track to your board. And again, you can attach the 2401 end clip there for better looks. Now, if you don't have this screw, and I've actually found it pretty hard to find this exact size screw outside of this set, you can take the Marklin 74990, which is just the standard track mounting screw. So if you're going to use the 74990, if we look at our bumper here, there's two holes. Right? There's the one that we just drilled, and then there's a second hole. Right? This is normally used for the wires in the LED version of the bumper. But as you can see, the screw actually fits nicely into that. And since we removed the center rail with that mounted where it was, you can just screw this directly into the track and it will stay put. So if you don't have the dedicated wood screw, you can go with that method, but I do recommend using the wood screw if you want this to be as durable as possible. So let's do a quick recap of what we did today. And just for better clarity, I'm going to use the newer version of the track that I have on my layout. But the first step was to identify the base of the center rail and use wire cutters to wiggle around and eventually snip it off and pull it out. You can optionally remove all the metal bits around here. For this track, I removed the positive, but not the negative. But you can remove everything if you'd like. And then you can go ahead and attach the end piece. You know, set that down on your layout, take the bumper, and either introduce the wood screw through the same hole that you drilled, or introduce the Marklin track screw through the other hole. And as I mentioned, this method will work with both the illuminated 24978 or the non-illuminated 24977. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's a great method to use if you want nicer looking bumpers that can be mounted permanently to your layout. It's a very durable construction, so you're not going to be having any trains running this over. Thank you so much for watching.